This is Shutters Inc. with Bruce Williams and Glynn Lavender.
Hi and welcome to episode 494 of Shutters Inc. We are back for 2021. This is Bruce Williams from shuttersincpodcast.com, and joining me via Skype from Melbourne, Victoria, it is Mr. Glynn Lavender. How are you?
You can run, but you can't hide.
There you go.
They thought we were gone. They hoped we were gone.
You were hoping 2020 would claim us.
You notice that Patreon went up significantly, asking people to not do another show? Anti-Patreon.
There you go. How was your Christmas?
You know, was that this year, was it? No, it wasn't.
It was the tail end of last year. Actually, now that I think about it, it probably wasn't that flash, all things considered.
See, most Christmases are at the tail end of the year, have you noticed?
Yes, I have noticed that.
It's funny. I mean, it's nice to put it in summer and all, but for those people like North, they get it in winter.
Yeah.
They should at least do it every second year in July.
Yeah.
So they get a chance to have a nice warm summer. We get a warm Christmas. And we get a nice cold Christmas.
Yeah.
That only seems fair. I mean, why should they get it all?
Well, I know that in the New South Wales snow country, and I'm assuming the Victorian snow country does the same thing, they do Christmas in July.
Yeah, same. It's not the same, is it? It's not the same as actually having Christmas in July.
Probably not.
Every second year, July 25th, Christmas. Southern Hemisphere.
But shouldn't it be June 25th, really, to be 6 months apart?
Yeah, it's colder in July.
Yeah, I know.
Mind you, my kids had a birthday party at a water park on Sunday, and it was 16 degrees.
Oh, that's brutal.
And pretty cold, blasting winds.
Oh, that's nasty.
There was somewhat on the frozen side of popsicle.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yes. And Christmas was it was okay.
Yeah.
You know, as we said, Mum passed end of November.
Yeah.
And it was kind of first Christmas without both parents, and my sister and I, who are the only siblings here in Australia, my brother lives in London, right. We both sort of moved up the table a notch.
Right.
You know? So we're now at the end of the table with the oldies ends, with the vestige of the elders of the family, shall we say? You know?
Yeah.
And that's fairly prominent. You know that it's now passed to this, and we're next cab off the rank.
Yes,
as the case may be. But look, regarding my mum, I've got to spend the last 7 days of nights with her.
Oh, that's great.
I slept on a camp stretcher next to her bed for 7 nights, and sat and didn't leave the room pretty much except to go to the toilet for 7 straight days.
Wow.
She wasn't really there. She wasn't there. There was no consciousness any of that, and she withered away to a slightly breathing skeleton.
Yeah.
So that was it was sad.
It's hard to watch. Of course.
Very hard to watch, and but you know when you put your parent into a care home.
Yeah.
You wonder what kind of care they're going to get.
Yes.
You know, what place is actually like. You was worried. And not being able to see Mum for 8 months before the end because of COVID.
Oh, of course.
Was extremely tough, you know. And especially the last 2 months knowing she was declining fairly rapidly and not being able to go.
Yeah.
So it was quite a shock to go and see her because it had gone from what you remember to what you got. And it's a hell of a difference.
Yeah.
But the people at the camp, now my mum should have died 8-9 days before she did.
Right.
So she somehow held on for 8 or 9 days, well beyond anyone's expectation, to the point that we were injecting her with morphine at 5 times the amount that, not me, but the doctors and the nurses, at 5 times the amount that took my dad out in one go.
Wow.
She was getting that every 2 hours.
Wow.
Every 2 hours for days. And the doctors would come in, they're like, I don't get it. Yeah, this is unheard of. The nursing staff was so beautiful. This is the most important bit was they would call in on their day off or call up on their day off to see how she was.
Wow.
To see how happened. Yeah, they'd come in and they'd say goodbye because it's the end of their week shift,
Yep.
and they'd all be crying and stuff, and there were genuine tears and genuine upsettedness that they had to leave her.
Yep.
And then they'd come back. That was like Friday afternoon. Then they'd come back in Monday, walking. What the hell are you doing here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then go on for another 4 or 5 days and be going off shift again, and she's still laying there. But it reminded me a bit when my dad passed. He had a really bad diabetes and kidney problems also. But his specialist doctor came into the room and cried.
Yeah, right.
And that's not something you see, you know.
No.
And then care and all the staff, they'd always be popping in, and you know, I lived there for they fed me breakfast, lunch, dinner, morning, most mornings and afternoons. They forgot one afternoon tea. So
just for your money back.
I had to mark them down online. You know?
Give them a negative review on Yelp.
That's got me cuppa. But yeah, they'd come in 10 o'clock at night and offer you a cup of teas and bickies and stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
nice.
And great care. And so, and it was one of it's hard to say that the wrong word is joy.
Yeah,
it was one of the honours of my life to spend those 7 days with her.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think in my entire 55 years that she was, or 54 years that she was cognizant of brain in my life, I ever heard her say she loved me.
Is that
and
right?
I don't ever recall much of ever having a hug.
Wow.
Yeah. Explains me a fair bit to a few people. But I got to, in those 7 days, even though she wasn't there, say I loved her, which is, once again, something never been said in life, you know?
Yeah, right.
And times and lay there and just stroke her hair and just sing songs to her and just be silly, you know, and just share. So it was an amazing thing, you know?
Yep.
And it's funny that I was not sleeping. You know, I was laying next to her, but I was doing my normal stuff of hour and a half, 2 hours sleep a night, broken.
Yeah.
And on the last night, I was awake. They came in for the 2 o'clock injection. That took till like 2:05, 2:06, and I was awake. I put my head down, just dozed off. At 2:15, they tapped me on the shoulder and said she's gone.
Wow.
Within that 9-minute window, you know.
Yeah, right.
And so I popped up because I was, hadn't really got deep sleep yet. I popped up and said, "Good on you, Mum." And that was it. You know, it was okay. And funny enough, by chance, bringing it all to a climax, yesterday we read the will. So you know, it's pain in the ass paperwork that's involved now. We've got to do probate and go to the Supreme Court and all this stuff. And so we've got lawyers. We've got the lawyer to do all the work. It's just much more hassle and paperwork. So that was good to kind of finalise all that stuff. And it was it's no one likes to lose a parent. As Oscar Wilde said, to lose a parent is tragic. To lose both is quite careless. And I think from memory, I put that quote up on Facebook, and Cass Tippett, the lovely Cass, she's a lovely American girlfriend. She popped the line and said that she didn't think I could get any better, and then I go and quote Oscar Wilde. You know,
right?
I know. But we're watching Cass's feed over the Trump era of the last few months, and watching. And I saw, funny enough, tonight. It's the 20th here. It's the 19th here in Australia.
In Australia, it's currently the 20th, but in America, it's the 19th.
The 20th. So technically, it's the last Trump day today, but there's still got like 12 hours. But what a guy I know, they put a fabulous little post up. The Weather Bureau has just issued a forecast for all the United States. It's going to be minus 45 for the entire day of the 20th. Minus 45.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You got to say, regardless of anything, there's been some hell of funny memes.
Oh yeah.
Ever watched Randy Rainbow YouTube videos? No. Gotta go watch Randy Rainbow, Bruce.
Right.
He does parody songs on Trump, and he's fabulous.
Right.
So definitely worth a watch. So yes, that's all. Yeah, the world's pivoting. It's changing again, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
ushering a new era. And I was mentioning to my kids today, I said, ask smart device how long the Spanish flu went for.
Right.
And technically, it's almost 3 years it went for, and they were shocked and said, "Yeah, because COVID is not just a 2020 thing,
Yeah.
It doesn't end on 31st.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2 or 3 year long saga.
Yeah,
basically. Yeah, so my Christmas is pretty good, and I've been on school holidays with the kids ever since. So I've been pretty busy trying to keep them entertained, and we went away for a few days up to the mountains, and by mountains I mean the hills, for our North American friends.
Yeah,
because our mountains are not very big. Up in the Alpine country, as we do every year for a few days, and
nice.
That's kind of it. We're taking up surfing lessons, so I've been doing a little bit of.
You have
another lesson to my kids, not my.
Oh, your kids have, right? Okay.
No, the kids have taken up surfing.
Right.
So we've got surfing lessons for Christmas. Because we've got this massive wave pool system about 20 minutes from our place.
Okay.
Outdoor man-made wave surfing. It's a surfing beach.
Yep.
Or 2 surfing beaches, all and you go there and you can either just go, if you already can surf, you just go there and pay to surf for an hour, or you go there and get lessons and learn how to surf. And
cool.
So pretty good. So
nice.
We went last week. It was 38 degrees and there's no shade. Yeah, it's like another 100, I think, in American.
That's over 100. Yeah,
that was pretty toasty.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's going to be much cooler. I think they're forecasting. I think it's about 36. This is the craziness of the weather system. The weather, man. The other day, they were learning to surf in 38-degree temperature. 2 days later, they were at a water park in 16 degrees. It's just madness. The weather is all over the place. It's extremely bizarre.
Yeah.
So, how was your Christmas, friends? You had some dramas.
Well, it sucked. Basically, just to recap, April of last year, I was supposed to fly to Western Australia to see my dad and my nan. My nan is now 95 years of age, and she was 94 then, but has dementia and is going downhill quickly. That, of course, got put on hold because of COVID, and Western Australia basically shut their border to the whole of the rest of Australia because
they've been trying to do that for years, though, I think.
They had basically no cases of COVID whatsoever. Yeah. They opened up their border to New South Wales about 2.5 weeks before Christmas, and I thought to myself, okay, I've got 2 weeks forced annual leave from work, so I'm going to rip over there for 5 days, see my nan, see my dad, whom I have not seen since January 2016, and I have not seen them since then. And
I think I've seen my dad since 2017. Similar.
Was that when he passed away?
Yeah.
Right.
But I haven't seen him since.
Right. That's probably a good thing. So anyway, I was all booked to fly over there on Saturday, I think it was about the 19th of December, and at 6 o'clock on the Friday morning, I get an email from the West Australian Police saying, "You are not permitted to enter Western Australia." Yeah, wow. Yeah. So what had happened was Sydney Northern Beaches had an outbreak of like 4 cases or something, and so Western Australia basically tarred the entire state with the same brush and went, "None of you are welcome." And so not only did I receive the email saying you're not welcome, but by the time it came Saturday morning, the flight itself had actually been cancelled.
Oh, really?
So as a consequence, I didn't get to go, and I still haven't seen my dad and my nan since January of 2016. So it's now been 5 years, and both the airlines gave me a deferral on the travel, and one of the airlines said, we'll give you this deferral that you can rebook before the end of March. If you don't use it before then you'll be up for a $120 rebooking fee. And I said, well, I will accept those terms on the condition that I'm actually able to fly to Western Australia before the end of March, because if I'm not, you'll be sticking your booking fee where the sun don't shine.
What they say to that?
And they said, yeah, absolutely. We understand, we have to put, some sort of limit on it, but obviously those limits will change if, travel's not available. So,
they've got to set somewhere.
Yeah. So as a result, I stayed here and we had a pleasant Christmas morning, just the three of us by ourselves. And then we drove down to Sydney after lunch and had a family get together. We were still allowed to have a family gathering of 10 people in Sydney. So
wow.
We had a family get together. We booked ourselves a motel about 1 kilometre away from my brother-in-law's house where we were having the get together.
Couldn't get any further away.
So we left the car there and then, walked across. That way we could all have a few drinks and then walk back to the motel for the night.
Walked a whole kilometre after drinking booze.
That's right. And then, Boxing Day morning, got up, went to Pancakes on the Rocks for breakfast and then drove home to the Central Coast in the afternoon.
And that's it.
Yeah. So that was our Christmas. And of course, then New Year's Eve was pretty lame because there were no fireworks because
they cancelled the fireworks. Didn't they?
That's it. So we actually caught up with some friends up here on the Central Coast for New Year's Eve. And that's about it. So
Man.
Yeah.
Okay, and how about you, listener? How was your Christmas?
That good, huh?
Non-responsive bunch, aren't they?
Non-responsive.
Then again, it's question without notice.
That's true.
We'll ask you at the end.
Yeah, that's
and then at
right.
the end, just leave like a long, 15-minute blank, nothing.
So should we talk some photo stuff?
Has there been any?
Yeah, there's a little bit.
I'll give our listeners a bit of a heads up.
Yeah.
Our listener, a little bit of because there's probably only one left. There's a big gap. Yeah.
Right.
Tamron Japan sent me an email.
Right.
Got a new lens coming out. We want to shoot. Straight away, it's like, do I really want to do this? And then I've gone, hang on a sec, I haven't earned any money since February. Maybe I should say yes. So come February 5, I'm receiving, or hopefully about February 5, I'll be receiving a couple of new versions of a new lens.
Yeah, it's a 50mm prime.
And then I'm going to be on a pulling my hair out mission trying to find something to bloody shoot. So here's the thing. For the first ever time, they said, can you send us a mood board of the type of things, the location you're planning to shoot.
Right.
Now, I did my diligence and ignored it for 2 weeks. And then there's another one saying, is everything okay? I ignored that for a week. No, I responded today. And my response was, who the bloody hell do you think No, it was, do you understand the process?
Yeah,
of what's
exactly.
involved, what you asked? It's not, I didn't phrase it anything like this. It's not the location. To understand, I'll be travelling over multiple days shooting.
Over hundreds of kilometres.
Over hundreds of kilometres from before sunrise till after sunset, desperately trying to find light on location that stands up as shot on in camera with no Photoshop that looks any good.
Yeah. That's
not a location. This is why I've said all along, the video never works well because you're trying to get us to shoot one day. And it might work in Europe where you can frolic through some bloody mountains and have a drone fly over top of you and everything looks cool.
Yeah.
But that's not what we got here. So I sent them a few summary colour-looking photos and said, these are not the locations I'm shooting. This is not what they will look like. But this will give you a vibe of the field.
This is what Australia looks like.
Then they want to know what the model. They can send me photos of the model. I said no, because I haven't booked the model. I don't intend to book the model until I know A, when we'll be shooting, B, where we'll be shooting.
Yeah.
But here's some random images of models in fields and other locations, which are kind of what I have in mind.
Yeah.
Yours truly. It's like And the thing is, I remember seeing one video from one guy. I can't remember, and it was a guy walking through in perfect light in European mountains, with drone following him, and everything looked cool. And he could shoot for one day, and he didn't have very many images. And he said he didn't have any variety to his images,
Right.
Yeah, but they want to provide 20 to 30 completed images, plus another bunch of other stuff on top of that, image-wise as well. And it's like, do you know what's involved in logistics? So I said yes. We'll see if they come back and say we still want you to do it after that. But so that's interesting. And I did get worded up that there's another project, not for me to shoot, but they were looking for I shouldn't say that. They're looking for somebody else with a different
aesthetic,
different subjects that they shoot.
Right.
They have a different. They asked me to shoot stuff I don't shoot anyway. I don't know what the difference is. But so at least 2 new lenses coming.
Right.
From the Tamron.
Cool.
So that's pretty. They'll give me a bit of income for the stuff that you're off at least.
Nice.
So that's one bit of photo news, and that's hot gossip because no one knows about that.
Yeah.
Even I looked on D Preview today.
Yeah.
What to expect in 2020? They're guessing what's coming out in 2020, and the things weren't mentioned. So Tamron wasn't mentioned at all, which is rather sad. But still, what are you going to do? I've got a couple of bits and pieces to talk about.
Yeah.
But not thought we'd on New Year's Eve. I made a New Year's resolution. Yeah. That we're going to change up the podcast, and we're going to viciously and violently research and delve deep on topics before we record. So when we talk with authority and knowledge.
That sounds great.
Like any good New Year's Eve resolution, 1 past 12.
It was dead by January 2.
Better, no, 1 minute past 12. I thought better on it. So we're back to normal.
Right, excellent.
So far. Camera sales down 40% across the board in 2020.
Wow.
Which kind of makes sense because 20 and 20 is 40.
That's one way of looking at it.
It's down 41%. So that's a fairly significant drop, you'd have to say.
So that's across all segments of the camera markets?
Across the entire board.
Yeah, right.
And in the break between podcasts, Photokina announced that it was stopping.
Forever?
So,
wow.
Gone. So the world's biggest photo show is now what's visited with my mum.
Wow.
So that's it was a big. A lot of my industry, especially my European industry friends, were quite devastated because once again, it's for the industry. It's such a social thing. You get a chance to catch up. Don't ever normally get to see, and that just doesn't exist anymore. So rather sad.
Yeah.
In more depressing news, Nikon are expecting a $720 million loss this year.
Is that all?
They've gone from $60 million profit last year.
Wow.
So it's basically a $80 million, the worst ever financial reporting in the company's history.
Wow.
Compare it with Canon, who expect to make $616 million profit.
Okay.
Yeah, and remember, both of those companies have had a significant slowdown. If the 40% drop-off is to be expected, it carries across evenly across the board.
Yeah.
The thing, the Canon R5, biggest selling SLR in the world, and the Nikon Z7, the second biggest. So they've got the second biggest selling SLR, and they're still going to post their biggest ever financial loss.
Yeah, right.
Speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So we've been saying all along, it's. I think Nikon over the next couple of years, unless something dramatic changes, are in some shaky ground.
Do you have any idea of what the previous, like the last 12 months, what the ratio has been between SLR and mirrorless in terms of sales?
I reckon it'd be 60-40, 65-35, something like that in mirrorless's favour.
Right. Okay.
I would say. It's going to change too because Nikon, by the looks of it, discontinued their 2 bottom of the range SLRs.
Right.
And one of those was the biggest selling camera in Japan, I think 2 years ago. So yeah, if they've got rid of their volume unit or volume units, the product that's selling the most volume,
Yep.
that 65-35 or whatever it actually is probably going to shift quite a bit as well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
here's an interesting little factoid. I didn't look too much into it, but Roger Sakala, the guy who owns lensrentals.com, he made an observation that in the last year for rentals, Canon was number one in rentals, people renting product for Canon.
Okay.
And Sony dropped down the pecking order. People are just not renting products for Sony or who knows what, but that's dropped down reasonably significantly by the sounds of it. So
okay.
Interesting, etc.
Yeah.
Once again, the market's shifting, changing continually.
Yeah.
It seems like Canon's arrested. I think maybe their R5 and R6s have done what they needed to do to combat the Sony move, people moving to Sony, by the sounds of it. Therefore their market share just stays good and strong. And
yeah, right.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
That's just it's industry not goss, but factoids.
Yep.
I did see, speaking of technology shifts and changes, not that we were, but we've been talking about this for the last year or so about AI developments.
Yep.
What's the name of them? Samsung have just released their new S21 phones.
Okay.
And the AI automatically removes distractions from the backgrounds of your photos.
What? How does it decide?
Or remove people, for an example, in the background who like someone's walking past in your shot.
Wow.
They will delete.
Wow.
So that's and I'm sure, I haven't looked into it, I've done my normal 0.3 of a second research, that you should have the option, obviously, to say, no, don't delete it, to bring it back.
Of course.
Or also be able to touch, I would imagine, you should be able to touch the screen and say, get rid of that.
Wow.
And it should get rid of it.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, there goes. Now, I should now shoot weddings on Samsung S21s.
Well, I was just about to say, when you hear that there's technology like this coming to smartphones, you can understand why the camera market has taken a 40% bath over the last 12 months.
But imagine if you shot weddings, with Samsung, and then they get divorced. You can give a delete her out of all of them, sell the book to him, delete him out of them, sell another book to her.
I really love the way I looked on my wedding day.
The family photos and stuff. You can get rid of bloke A or woman C. Bang, gone. I thought that was interesting. Then I saw Asus. Remember, Asus, the computer company.
It's actually pronounced Asus.
Asus.
Yep.
The preview had a thing on Asus.
No, it's Petapixel. It's Petapixel. It's Petapixel.
Same people. Yeah. Just different content.
Oh, okay.
Occasionally, but they put a laptop with two screens.
Right.
It's got like your normal laptop screen. Then in the ground between the keys and another screen, like a 9-inch screen.
Right.
Which I thought, if you're doing your Photoshoppery and stuff, that screen has all your tools.
Oh yeah.
And you're working full screen with the photo on the other one.
Yeah, cool.
Brilliant little setup. It's like with dual monitors on your desktop when you're doing your photos, but you can do it in the field.
Yeah, right.
Or video editing, your timeline down the bottom screen and your footage up the top. And I can see huge benefits of a dual screen. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah. And the last thing I noticed a woman who released 3 poems on photography.
Oh, okay.
I'd have a look, because as you do.
Yeah.
And then I said, oh dear. And so I wrote my own.
Oh, did you?
I'll speak a little bit of hers first and see where you can see where I went. Yeah, the way I went.
Okay.
I feel the buzz, I crave the gleam of stratus clouds and citrus beam. My camera simply can't deny the rush in spark of firefly and cirrus trips in tangerine. I'm lifted by lush leaves of green, the bird, the bud, the beetle's sheen. At each fix that hits my eye, I feel the buzz. And it goes on.
Right.
My click addiction makes me sigh. With every shot that fills my screen, I feel the buzz.
Right.
That's just one of her many poems.
Yep.
So I came up with my own, thinking it's quite inspirational, Bruce.
Okay.
I should have named it.
You should have.
Maybe have a listener a listener poll so they can the best name wins, and we'll name it and publish it.
Okay.
So clickety goes the shutter without a hitchety. 1,000 pics it's reckoned, a wedding tog shoots per second. And somewhere in all that crappery, and somewhere in all that noise, is a bride and groom looking lovely, accidentally captured with his toys.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
If this is inspiration to our listeners, maybe I'll do verse 2.
Right.
And maybe I'll do the boudoir photography. We'll pick on Adam Davidson. The art nude. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't mean to be rude when you saw my art nude on Facebook. Yeah. No need to ban me. Yeah. Let's go eat a banh mi. So that's a Vietnamese bread roll. See how I did there? Banh mi. Banh mi. So this is just.
I'm glad you clarified that.
What are these rappers call it when they're just free spirit wording out the words off the top
Don't
of their
they call
heads
it freestyling?
Yeah. I'm freestyling the poetry.
Yeah.
So that's my poem.
Excellent.
And I'm going to save that because I hadn't saved it. I better save that so we've got it to be named for next week. I'll name it. At the moment, it's temporarily because that's what the file's called. Clickety. I think we can do better than that.
Excellent.
Should we read it one more time so they'd have to rewind to listen to the joys of it?
Move on to what?
Well, they're going to listen to it. They go, "Oh, that was awesome. I want to hear that again."
Right.
And then they have to rewind the podcast to hear it again.
Yeah.
But if I read it again,
they
don't have to.
Okay, read it again.
Okay. Clickety goes the shutter without a hitchery. See what I did there? That's pretty good. 1,000 pics it's reckoned, a wedding tog shoots per second. And somewhere in all that crappery, and somewhere in all that noise, is a bride and groom looking lovely. See what I did there? That was awesome, that bit. Accidentally captured with his toys. So that's just that's poetry. That's what that is.
Poetry works better without the asides. Just saying.
But you have to let people know where the clever bits are, otherwise they don't get.
Of course you do.
You have to, Bruce. It's a parent's thesis or something. That's what they call it. I'm a parent. That's the thesis. It's a parenthesis.
Boom, boom.
I used it for parents' thesis.
Oh, dear.
That's. I think we've hit a high note for 2021 already, Bruce.
Definitely.
Right up there with some of our worst.
I'd like to break into the podcast briefly to mention that we now have a Patreon account. If you get any value at all from our photographic giggle fest each week, we'd really appreciate it if you could spare a couple of bucks a month just to help keep the servers running. The link will be in the show notes. Much appreciated. Now, back to the podcast.
So you've got some things?
I've just got a couple of things that I collected over the break.
Get that snowflakes. I thought it was spam, so I didn't look at it.
So this is a photographer by the name, I'm probably going to butcher this, Alexei Klatchov, I'm hoping.
Let's just call him Alexei, shall we?
This guy has done photographs of individual snowflakes. How? I have no idea. But it is amazing stuff. I'm assuming it's not photoshopped. They look like genuine photographs.
They look like genuine snowflakes. I'm not sure if they're genuine photos.
Right.
Doesn't mean they're not.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing. If they are photographs of individual snowflakes, then he has done an amazing job.
He did them 7 years ago too.
Is that right?
Or from 2013.
Right.
So you're up to date as usual, Bruce.
Oh, mate, I am. I'm on it.
All the up-to-date catching news for our listener.
That's it.
Crazy. But very cool stuff. And you know what? Here's the thing I noticed straight away, Bruce.
Yeah.
Every one of those snowflakes is different.
Yes, I noticed that. Pretty cool, that.
Amazing.
The next thing that I found was the longest ever photographic exposure.
Is that the mistake one?
Well, yes and no. This photographer by the name of Regina Valkenborg, she was a fine art student at the University of Hertfordshire in southern England, and she created these pinhole cameras by putting photographic paper inside soft drink cans and placing them out in the field. And what happened was that she left a few of them set up on the grounds of the university, but they got forgotten. And 8 years went by, and the head of technology, a guy by the name of David Campbell, not the Australian singer, he happened to find these cans, and he knew what they were, and so he reached out to her and said, found one of these cans, what do you want done with them? And she went, just chuck them out, they've probably all failed. And he didn't. He actually pulled them all apart and retrieved the photographic paper, and in one of them was this basically 8-year time lapse of the passing of the sun across this landscape. Like, what do they say? 2,953 arced trails of the sun on this one piece of photographic paper over 8 years. So they think it's the longest photographic exposure ever, successfully captured, even if it was unintentional. It was pretty amazing.
It was pretty amazing.
Yeah. So anyway,
it was very cool. So I mean, accidentally very cool.
Yeah.
It's like that one of the guys set up the pinhole cameras in Berlin with like 100-year exposure. And
really?
He's got 8 pinhole cameras around Berlin, and it's going to record the changing of the Berlin landscape over the next 100 years. And then he'll go back and take them all down and get them developed and hold an exhibition.
He'll be dead.
Yeah, that's the downside of his whole plan. Yeah. And also, people, I imagine, he's going to have to leave a very big note somewhere.
Yeah, saying don't move this camera.
Yeah, and also, or go get the cameras, it's up, time's up.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is how you develop, this is how you access them, this is the technology you need to somehow reinvent or whatever it may be. But it's kind of a little bit like that, but a shorter version, obviously, only 8 years, but whatever it was. But it's kind of like that forgotten, finding that old roll of film in the bottom of your cupboard somewhere and finding photos of it. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And just a couple of days ago, I got an email from the team at Affinity, the mob who make Affinity Photo. And as I've mentioned in the past, this company was called Serif or Serif, however you want to say it. And I've used some of their products in the past, and they have always made great products. And they've now developed Affinity Photo, which is basically poor man's Photoshop. And I've yet to run it on Windows, so I don't know exactly what it's like because I haven't used it. But from the videos that I've seen, it looks amazing. And the whole point of the email that they sent out was to say, last year was crap. We discounted our software by 50% and gave everyone a 3-month free trial of the software. We thought that by now everything would be back to normal, and clearly it is not. So they have reintroduced the 50% pricing, and it's not just on Affinity Photo, it's on all of the Affinity products. And they've reintroduced the 90-day free trial, and they even said in the email that even if you have previously used a 3-month trial, you can have it again. Oh. And so I went to the website just tonight before we started recording to look at the pricing. Affinity Photo is less than 40 Australian dollars, and you own it outright. It's none of this pay by the month cloud subscription crap.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what, stuff it, I'm buying it. Even though I'm on Linux these days, I do still use Windows for all my audio and video production.
Yeah.
So I thought, stuff it. So I just bought a copy of it, and I will run it on Windows, but I will also endeavour to get it running on Linux through what's called Wine, a Windows emulator. So, yeah, but I just thought I'd mention it because having used some of their software in the past, I know how good they are at what they do, and I expect that Affinity Photo will be a very good alternative for anyone who's looking for a cheaper alternative or something that they get to own outright. I figured at that kind of pricing, what have you got to lose? I mean, really, $40.
Do you want to know something weird, Bruce?
What's that?
As you're waffling on, I kind of zoned out.
As you do.
So I'm on my phone on Facebook. I'm just scrolling through Facebook.
Yeah.
And there's an advert for Affinity.
It was listening to us, mate.
I've got the headphones on. Right? So have the phone here with noise-cancelling headphones on.
Oh, it knows. It knows.
Creative software. And what happens if I click the button? How bizarre is that, though?
Yeah.
It's just a message for Affinity.
Yep. So anyway, I just wanted to mention it because, They do good software, and given the pricing, I don't think you can go wrong, even if you install it and then go, it's not really for me. Yeah, you're only out $40.
Or even if you just do the free trial and then decide to buy it or not.
Absolutely. Well, 3-month free trial. So, and like I said, you can get that for all their software, not just Affinity Photo.
Yeah. So it's on for, they've got it here for Affinity content, 50% off. Was it?
That's what I was going to mention that as well. So they've also got a whole bunch of add-on packs, like, extra brush packs, extra texture packs, extra font packs.
So they get you up, so for all this extra money.
Yeah, but most of them were like under $20 Australian. Most of them were $17 or $18. There was a couple that were $22, $23. So it's not expensive.
Affinity Publishers, $38.99.
Yep.
Affinity Designer.
Yeah, I think they were all the same, about $38.99 Australian.
So $12.
Yeah. So
you can even buy T-shirts, Bruce. They've got T-shirts. They've got workbooks. You could do it. You could start a whole new YouTube content.
I could.
But a sidebar. What you should do? You should also do a Lightroom. You should do a Lightroom one. See if you can. Yeah, you could go YouTube full time.
I could. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, you will be happy to know that I took notice of your advice.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
And you started doing Seek Part 1, Part 2, Part 3?
Yes.
And?
I'm getting many more views.
I knew that.
Yeah. So it started out with one of the videos that I did last year. It might have been on the panoramas. I broke that up into a series. But then when the new version came out on Christmas Day, as is always the case with Darktable, there's always a new stable release on Christmas Day.
If we had Christmas Day in July, that would set things up for me, wouldn't it?
So what I did was I looked at all of the stuff that was new for version 3.4 and I went, wow, if I cram all this into one video, it's going to be like an hour long. So I thought I'll do as Glynn said, and I'll break it up into 4 15-minute videos, give or take. And so that's what I did. And I published them as part 1 of 4, part 2 of 4, part 3 of 4, part 4 of 4.
And it works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, here's the most important next thing.
And YouTube was ecstatic.
Why?
Because they said, your stats are booming. You've got so many more views than normal and blah, blah, blah. And it was all exciting. And
if we get that when we say we're not watching a show, we're not doing a show. You're doing great.
Yeah.
Length of time people are listening or watching, I should say.
Yeah, so that hasn't really changed.
Right.
So I've gone from average view time of 8 minutes for a 40-minute video to average view time of 8 minutes for a 15-minute video.
Yeah, but that 40 minutes is now three lots. So they're actually watching 24 minutes.
Exactly.
There you go.
So
they're watching 3/4 of your content, effectively, rather than 1/4.
Yep.
Awesome, dude.
So, yeah. So I'm very happy with that.
It's almost like I know what I'm doing.
Almost.
The guy doesn't have a channel himself. I just know humans. Oh, that's great stuff. You know, what you need to do now is shorten them further. So how long's your videos?
I'm sort of getting them down to around about the 15 to 18 minute mark.
But the people are watching for how long?
Roughly 8 minutes.
Okay, so what you need to do is now do no longer than 10-minute parts.
Yeah.
And if you can get people watching 8 minutes of a 10-minute video over 5 parts, rather than 8 minutes of a 15-minute video over 4 parts, it's the same. Yeah, you'll boom, dude.
Yep.
So do it. Get down to 10 minutes. The people are telling you how long they want to watch.
Yeah.
They're telling your customers to say, hey, thank God there's no podcast feedback. People tell us after the first minute. The other 59's wasted.
Yeah.
You know? But your YouTube audience is telling you how long they want to watch for.
Yeah.
And you're doing a disservice. But it should be so instead of one 15-minute video, it should be 2 8-minute videos.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's 10 parts or 12 parts long, dude. They'll watch them all if they're interested in the content.
Yeah.
But they want these bite-sized pieces.
Yeah.
Now, the only other thing that would be really interesting if you get the statistics is, do people go from part 1 and then go straight to part 2? Or do they, it's probably not possible to get, or do they wait a day and then watch part 2, or wait a day then watch part 3, that kind of thing? Yeah,
I don't think YouTube gives you that sort of granularity, unfortunately.
But that'd be interesting. So I would say you need to, and the thing is, if you've gotten down to 10-minute videos, can you stretch them from 8 minutes to 9 minutes, or 8 minutes to the full 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Then look at just the half-minute mark or whatever, and they say, still twice as much to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just on a related note, I was talking to Rakesh today.
Oh, the lovely Rakesh. She's lovely.
And he was saying that, because we were talking about this idea of rather than one long video, making 4 shorter videos. And he said to me, what you want to do is when you produce a short series of videos that covers a certain topic, he said, rather than just putting them all in the one, mega playlist that I have on YouTube at the moment, which is just called Darktable, he said, create a playlist for that handful of videos that relates to one little topic.
Panoramas or whatever it may be.
Because he said the thing is that if you get people to hit on the playlist rather than just on one of the videos, at least when autoplay selects the next video, it'll be another one of your videos. Yeah. Whereas if they're just hitting one of your videos not in a playlist, then autoplay might take them off down a rabbit hole on somebody else's content afterwards.
Exactly, as it does now.
So lots of things to consider and implement.
And you should finish every episode with what's in the next part.
Yeah, if only I was organised enough to know that far ahead.
Yeah. Well, you should, because you should record the whole thing in one go, the 45 minutes or whatever it is, break it down.
Oh, I see. Right, yes, for when it's in a multi-part sequence. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and then just go on. Next part, we'll be covering blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Before the thing you're there.
Yep.
Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and go that little bell so you'll be notified. All that crap they do all the time,
Yeah.
And then what you need to do is also release the whole lot as one. So parts 1 to 10, let's say,
right,
and 1 to 10 in one video.
Yeah, right.
So it's not Jim Baird, who's an outdoor adventure guy up in the Northwest up at reaches of Canada. He does 15 days solo in the Yukon kind of videos, and it's surviving by himself in the wild. And he'll do parts 1 to 15, and then he'll put the whole thing together. So 4.5 hours, the whole movie.
Yeah,
and
right.
People sit there and watch the whole 4.5 hours.
Wow.
It's really good. So you should. So don't give people. Don't. It doesn't cost you or hurt you to put up the full thing in one batch as well. Give people the option.
True.
But your customers, your listeners, your watchers are telling you 8 minutes is what they want on average.
Yeah, right.
So it's a disservice, and they're missing out on stuff.
Yep.
Because you're being a bastard. Be nice to your people, and they'll be nice to you.
Yeah.
So we want feedback on when you change it over to that, how it impacts you. I'd love to see if you can get them past the 9 minute mark.
Okay. Yep.
Because I think you'll find anyone to watch 8 minutes on YouTube on one video, it's quite a long time anyway.
Yeah.
For YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube's a 2 or 3 minute thing. So good stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude.
Cool.
Well, I'd like to say it's been a pleasure doing this again with you.
Of course you would.
I really would.
Good to talk, matey.
You too. And for everybody who came back, we'd like to thank you individually. And we hope your Christmas was good. And use the 15-minute blank space at the end to tell us how it was.
There you go. All right, mate. Talk to you next week.
Bye all.
Bye.
Shutters Inc. Another audio2u.com quality podcast. For questions, comments, and feedback, email theboys@shuttersincpodcast.com.